Hello. Welcome to Kill the Bottle Podcast. Eddie's more, a.k.a. the Yum Yum Foodie. And no, Megan did not get transition surgery. In case you didn't see him on the show a couple years ago, today on Kill the Bottle Podcast, I have a homie, a fellow Kuwichi, comedian, actor, voice actor, now producer, writer. I mean, I was a writer before, but you know, Mike Menendez. What's up, bro? Hey, good. I know it's been a hot second. I know we're having some fun yaps. So you know, I was like, all right, we're having some fun yaps. Let me. Yeah. Actually, I don't remember if I pressed record on the video. So pardon me, guys. I'll let Mike entertain you for a second. I sure did. I sure pressed record on that thing.
We were such different Cubans, man. I clearly have spent some time meditating and shit. You cannot.
I was like, hold on, did I press
miles per hour?
It is called Kill the Bottle Podcast, and Michael, you like that?
Yeah.
Mike and I are sipping on a little white wine because it's about 1,000. It's like the surface of the sun right now in LA, but we're drinking. This is some good shit. Oof. This is 2019 Roussanne. If you haven't heard of Roussanne, it's a white grape that ends up predominantly in Rhone blend. So here in California, the part of California that develops the most type of Rhone varietals would be Paso Robles. And I like, they pronounce it Paso Robles, but I just want to call it Paso Robles, even though it's not.
You should call it Paso Robles.
I am. I kind of do. People give me shit when I make videos, and I'm like, Paso Robles. But I don't want to say the winery that this is. I'm just remembering now the bottle that I grabbed because these fuckers had a meeting with me. Okay. And this wine's delicious, by the way, but they can fuck right off. They had a meeting with me about me doing a Cuban-themed, pig roast paired with their wines and me hosting it for their wine club members. Okay. So we had a whole talk about this. We did some creative talk about it. And then these fuckfaces went behind my back and did it with a local chef and totally cut me out of it.
Was he a Cuban guy?
It was not.
Oh.
It was the furthest front a Cuban guy.
You could have been sold out by another Cuban
I think it would have been better if I would have been sold out.
You think it would have been better?
Yeah, at least there's some authenticity to it.
Yeah.
I don't want a dude that looks like Santa Claus with a bunch of fucking consonants in his last name making Cuban food. So, I'm sure there's a bunch of Russian Cubans that have tons of consonants in their last name.
Sure.
But anyway, so they can, again, fuck right off. But the wine is tasty.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And Roussanne is a white wine, kind of like Chardonnay or white Burgundy, that can age a little bit. It's not like a Sauvignon Blanc or a really crisp white wine that essentially you kind of want to drink it a little bit sooner than later. Yeah. This stuff, it can lay down. This is a 2019, so it's got some years on it.
It tastes better knowing that they come from conflict grapes. Like conflict diamonds, but conflict grape, because you have a personal conflict with these people. And yet you like the wine so much.
I like the wine. We're drinking it.
You have looked past your pettiness for these people.
And I'm still being petty. Very petty.
I know, but you're enjoying their wine and you're calling it out. And it's,
I am. I got to call it out. And then I know I'm going to get all the DMs of which winery was it? I'll never tell.
I'll
never tell.
He'll tell me.
I'll tell him. And you can't even actually, I didn't wrap up the bottle. I wrapped it up to keep it cold.
Is this a stupid name like Jeff's Winery?
No, it's a winery that has this it's fucking nice hotel. It's fucking great.
Oh, okay.
It's what's I wouldn't even say it's a full-on hotel.
They just hoodwinked you.
They did. They hoodwinked me. And then I saw what they did, and it was so fucking lame. And in my mind, I'm like, great. These guests, these wine club members, had the most watered-down Cuban meal ever, and now they don't really know what Cuban food tastes like. Okay. They just know what some older white dude's interpretation of Cuban food tastes like in Central California, which it may not have been bad, but I looked at it and I'm like, no. You don't serve tortillas on the side with croquetas, bro. Yeah. It does not. That's not how it works. Anyway, so I digress. Speaking of conflict, you like that?
Yeah, I like that.
Mike is here. He's a homie, and then secondly, he sent over this wonderful short film that he's involved in. I'll let him explain, why he's involved in it. But it does have some conflict. It's called Pollo Punch. And so tell me a little bit about Pollo Punch. I've seen it. I giggled my ass off because there's definitely a lot of very Cuban-centric moments to me in lingo and accents. And I hear Jenny Lorenzo's voice back there. And, and Chris Garcia, friend of the show. I hear Chris in there. So it made me really happy to hear all that. But where did that come from?
Alec Castillo, the animator, he is a comedian, and I met him in Miami, and then he moved to Los Angeles, and we were friends in Miami during the pandemic. So he moved back here. He moved here for the first time, and then I moved back here for a second time in 2022. So we started hanging out because I was getting reacclimated, and he was an animator. So he said, "Hey man, if you ever want to work on anything, let me know." And then we started talking about, both being Cuban and fun stuff about that, and we started exchanging stories, and then we just came up with this idea of why don't we do a cartoon about a Cuban rooster that wants to be a boxer, because I've been pretty big into boxing for the last decade, but I've gotten really obsessive about it for the last 5 years.
Well, wait, let me get this straight. So you guys had a meeting. Mm-hmm. You had a meeting of the minds. Then he didn't take your idea and run with it and do a different Cuban food thing. No. He did the idea that, fuck that winery. He did the idea that you guys came up with together.
Just say their name.
A little bit of integrity. I'm going to create a little bit of mystery. I'm going to create a sense of mystery. It's going to be, yeah. So anyway, sorry.
You know what'd be funny is if you actually own the winery and you fuck somebody out of like a Greek Mediterranean night, and you're just trying to test how we all feel about that guy first.
The best part is I completely forgot about this until I fucking opened the bottle. I go, get the fuck these sapingos. Anyway.
So Pollo Punch.
Yeah.
We came up with it as an idea for a cartoon, and then luckily he applied for a grant for young animators, and he got the grant, and so we got some budget money to make it, and it took about a year, and it was great. It was absolutely great. And like you said, I got to work with Jenny Lorenzo and everything like that. Like before we even had the grant, we did a reading of it in the back of Sal's Comedy Hall on Melrose. It's not there anymore. This was a place that I used to do open mics at when I moved to LA in 2013, and I went there 5 days a week for 5 years. And our reading at that place was the last thing that ever happened, because the next day it shut down.
So you're like the Grim Reaper.
We're the Grim Reaper. I came and go, and Sal's is gone now because of me. And then I worked at the Village Idiot across the street for the World Cup, like I told you.
Yeah.
And they shut down after 15 years while I was working there.
So guys,
this is the last episode of your podcast. You're gonna have to make amends with that winery.
So you said they applied for a grant. So let's say I'm a person at home. I'm here listening, and I've had this this yearning to make an animated short. Mm-hmm. Okay, what was the process like from the genesis of it to actually getting the ball rolling as far as getting it made? What was your checklist, or is there one? You know what I mean? This before that kind of thing.
Well, the grant was really through Alec, because he's a young animator. It was a young animator grant. So he applied for it. I forget how much time. We were talking about it as a thing, even if this part wouldn't have happened, because we just love talking about it. He started doing the drawings based on what we were talking about, but with nothing in sight of why we should be doing this. We just liked seeing everything in front of us.
The animation is very fun. I love the styling of it. The gallo, the rooster. Yeah. Your main animal character, not your main human character.
He's rocking one of these. But
yeah, bro. He's rocking the Cuban link gold chain. Yeah. I couldn't tell if it was Cuban link, but
it's like.
Yeah. And it just I was like, this is a Hialeah rooster.
Yeah.
And for the folks who don't know what Hialeah is, it's the city of progress, but it isn't. It's probably the biggest oxymoron name one of the biggest oxymoron nicknames for a city ever, because the city of progress, but it's not very progressive place. But this little hero story of it's like the little engine that could, and it ties so much into Cuban culture too, because like it or not, cockfighting is part of Cuban culture. I was watching, I was like, I wonder if Michael Vick made an animated movie, would things have just been a little bit better for him?
Right.
Probably not.
No.
No. Have you ever been to a chicken fight?
Yes.
I've never been to one.
In the Dominican Republic. I was doing missionary work for.
Notice I said chicken fight.
Yes, chicken fight. No, I was doing. I was on a missionary trip with my school, and we were building a bridge, and they were on a farmland, and one day they just had a cockfight in front of us.
So random.
And it was absolutely gruesome. But I mean, this, in my cartoon, there's roosters with boxing gloves.
Yes,
and like
yes,
that. Like,
yeah. It's not a blood gore.
No,
no.
in cockfighting, they put like blades on their talons. And
No
that's
way.
How they put blades on their talons, and that's like it's really popular in the Philippines still.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a gruesome sport, but my grandfather went to those in the 60s and the 70s when he came over from Cuba. My grandmother always said he went all the time to watch them until like the cartels and the mafia got involved with the cockfights.
Anytime, man. Anytime people have fun, cartels and mafia come in and fuck it up for everybody.
Come in and fuck up everything. Man.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that winery in Paso would have a cockfight, or if I talked to them about it, maybe they would hold one.
Like, oh yeah, you can referee. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and then they'll have a cockfight, and then I'll call the cops on them.
You call the cops on
and
them,
then just shut them down.
Then you
See,
got it.
I like
I'm
it.
So glad to help you figure out how to get retribution on these people.
I can't let it go.
I know you can't.
I know it's great. It's a great little. It's a good little therapy session we're having here on Kill the Bottle Podcast. Speaking on like a real talk, how do you like the wine?
I love it.
It's really good, right?
Yeah, it's great for a hot day.
It's super freaking good. I gave Mike. I was like, he's like, are you feeling white wine? I told him, I was like, do you want white wine? He's like, are you feeling white wine? I'm like, I'll drink whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
And he was like, nope, wine.
Well, wine's all I drink nowadays. So
that's great.
Yes, it's made me feel a lot better as a person.
It does. And
I'm so bored. I'm so bored all the time. But life is better.
Yeah. Life is always better. With a little bit of wine. What was your reaction? Because by the time this episode comes out, it's still going to be a thing. It's like they're like the new Haktua girl. It's the Coldplay couple, as I call them. The CEO. Megan and I talked about it last week on the show briefly because it had just kind of hit the news, and now more information has been out since Megan and I talked about it.
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck, this is the greatest thing ever. Just for my sheer entertainment. But I felt bad for the family of the guy. I felt bad for like the little kids that are seeing their dad up on a screen,
I mean, it just shows that the billionaires, like, even though they've amassed a lot of wealth, just have no tact, and like they're kind of dorks at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess so, right? And
it really humanizes them. Like they get caught like a construction worker gets caught. Like it's just in the stupidest way on his cam. In the most, like, wasn't he up like in a box or something like that? Like,
I don't know. I couldn't tell where he was because they have that like mirror
it was a place
looking
where obviously
screen.
People weren't crowded. It was, and I guess he didn't know that it was.
I saw the greatest video because of course the internet always wins, right? And now the flooding of I even got on the bandwagon and made a stupid meme about it. But I saw one that was people telling if you're ever in this situation, what do you do? And they were like, pretend you're in a trust fall. Pretend somebody's cracking your back. And they started doing all these things on camera. And I was like, bravo.
They should have just acted normal.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have. The whole reason that even happened was because
nobody was going to see that.
She cowered and he like ran away. And then Chris Martin in his stupid fucking British accent is like, no, they really saw that having an affair. I was like, you would know.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I loved his he made a statement. And in his statement, he like passive aggressively blames Coldplay. It's the fucking most like white privilege shit I've ever seen in my life. I was like, dude.
Yeah. I take my wife to Pavarotti. I take my mistress to Coldplay.
Yeah.
It's silly. It's just it really, and I get it. The reason that everyone's shitting on them is because everyone likes shitting on billionaires now. I'm not one of those like don't hate on billionaires or hate. But I really just I just find them to be just so corny.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think you don't really see a lot of, GQ looking models that are billionaires.
Yeah.
Eventually Tom Brady will probably be a billionaire, and good for him, Mr. GQ. But, I have nothing against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But most of these guys, like Bezos, and like, they just wanted to get laid, I think. At some point when they have that level of money,
What Bezos is doing is very much like, it's like, this is a dude who's never been with a.
He's like, let me buy Venice.
He's with a woman, and no offense to his ex-wife, she looks like a gorgeous.
Yeah, she's a very pretty lady.
In a marry you type of way.
Yeah,
he's never been with a sex bomb land
that we know of
because he's from Seattle, which is like I believe that's the driest sex per capita in the country.
Well, no, but Bezos is from Vegas.
Sorry, but his company started in
Yeah,
Seattle.
yeah.
So he's been in Seattle a long time. So he was. And
he was hanging with Bill Gates, dude.
he's hanging like that's
those are two studs.
That's a very sexless city. I'm sorry. It's a very sexless city. I liked it. I liked it when I visited, but you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a single person in
not
Seattle.
Not in Seattle.
No.
Man.
You go there
offense.
with
some of my good friends are from Seattle. But
they'll be the first ones to tell you.
Well, they hate Seattle, but if you make fun of Seattle, they get Kurt Cobain when they're talking about Seattle, but if you're talking about Seattle, they'll go Courtney Love on your ass.
Do you feel like that about Miami when people talk shit about Miami?
No, I completely get why people would talk shit about Miami.
Yeah, fair, me too.
But I love Miami for different reasons. The Miami that I know is not the Miami that they know.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
150%, dude. We know the days of Tim Hardaway and and Alonzo Mourning with Jeff just hanging around his fucking ankle in the playoffs. Like we know a different Miami.
Yeah, I mean,
and even Miami now, we know a different Miami.
I mean, here's a case in point of something that was interesting. It might not be the most politically correct thing to say, but when I moved to LA, and even when I lived in Chicago for like a year before LA. That was the first time I met gay men that were not jacked.
Oh, yeah.
Like in Miami,
that's true.
We have what I call the Alexander the Great gays. Like, they're really... I never met a gay man that didn't look like he could fuck up every straight man in a room.
Especially like walking down Lincoln Road back in the day. It was like dudes were swole.
They all had like a Gold's Gym membership, and then they would have the smallest dogs just to make themselves look even bigger.
That's a valid point. That's true. I didn't put those two together.
Well, I used to try to do a joke on stage where I said like, every other city has this great story about how like the gay community was downtrodden, and the cops like beat them up, and they fought for their rights, and then they eventually got the rights. And it's like that. There's no story like that in Miami. No. We just gave them their rights. They just dropped their deadlifts on City Hall and just said like we're good, and the mayor's like we're good, we're totally good. We're good. Just don't fuck us.
Yeah, it's like when you think of like any like gay story from Miami, it's only the Andrew Cunanan Versace story. That's all I can ever think of.
That's all you can hear.
That's all you can ever think of.
We had
that's the guy who killed Gianni Versace, guys.
Yes.
Yeah,
Andrew Cunanan. I love that the FX show. That's probably my favorite of all those.
It was good.
It was great.
Yeah,
fantastic.
really well done.
Yeah, but like my mom's generation had she had a gay cousin, and that was a big deal in the 70s. But he's a triage nurse, and his husband is a Navy officer. So I've only known gay men as like big, like can fuck up most people in their weight class.
Yeah.
So when I moved to LA, that's when I first started meeting the just like, oh hi, like
yeah. That's true. I don't
know,
Yeah. What? That's a super valid point.
Yeah.
I was like, I never put those two together. Yeah.
Shout out to Miami LGBTQ.
Fuck people up community.
Yeah, fuck people up community.
Yeah. There's nobody was walking around Miami and like making a comment. No like misogynistic, homophobic dude was walking around saying anything to like a gay person in Miami because they were gonna get their ass kicked.
Yeah, they were gonna get their ass kicked because all the gay dudes look like 300. Like and every fucking guy, every straight guy looked like he was in Menudo, and the 300 will always fuck up Menudo. I don't know if we need to put this in celebrity deathmatch terms, but
I'd watch that. I'd watch a claymation of that.
Yeah,
fuck yeah, dude. I would totally watch a claymation of that.
I mean, Miami's just a very I always talk about with other people that out of all the major cities in America, how many major cities in America can you think of that are run by a third party ethnicity? Because when you're talking about America, you're talking about white Americans and African Americans have been the history of that. Like Miami is run by Cuban people. It's a small island.
Oh yeah.
Like we're in LA right now. The mayor's not Mexican. I don't know why, but the mayor's not Mexican.
Right.
And that makes it very unique and very different.
Do you get to the same level of disappointment that I get when every time there's like Medicare fraud, every time there's like political corruption, for the most part, it's our fucking hometown, and it's kind of exponential in our hometown.
Well, because it's
I mean, again, Billy Corbin would not have a career if it wasn't for all of the fuckery.
No.
No, I love Billy Corbin. I'm just kidding.
I would love him to make a documentary about a Hispanic person who had a job and did it to their best abilities. But that sex sells, baby.
Yeah.
No, I think Miami is a place just like LA. It attracts a lot of good people and it attracts a lot of bad people. It seems like Miami for a long time was a place where people from the Northeast who were not welcomed anymore just went down to kind of run roughshod.
Yeah. I almost feel like, when I was growing up, the criminal element was the drug element. Was the cocaine cowboys? I'm a little bit older than you, and that's kind of that was the center of crime in Miami. Yeah. Was that? And now I almost feel like the center of crime around Miami is really just the biggest level of corruption and fraud. Right. Not just political. I'm just saying fraud in general. Yeah, buildings falling apart because they take all the money from the homeowners association and they go and buy a yacht and they don't, build the infrastructure of the building. Like it's just kind of on another level, and there's almost no accountability except for Billy who goes to every commissioner meeting and just lets everybody have it.
Well, what's funny is that I remember in the last one he did on Sal Maguda and Willie Falcone.
So good.
Their lawyer gets shot. He gets killed, and I'm watching with my parents. And, the documentary goes they had a lawyer that was shot, and they show the picture of the guy face down with a blood stain on his head. And then my parents just go, that guy did that was your grandfather's friend. He did the closing on our house. He negotiated the closing on our house. I was like, oh, cool. Small world.
Yeah.
Real small world.
Yeah, I love it.
It's all connected. Well, that shows you that how quick, the intersection between people doing the people bumping shoulders in Miami, you had people who did the right thing and you had people that did the wrong thing bumping shoulders with each other constantly in Miami because it was a small town because of just
I just imagine the Cuban parents and they're sitting there and they're having their Sunday meal with their kids. And their kids are adults, let's say our age. Yeah. And, the kid on the left, I say kid, probably in their 40s, is the head of the DEA. And then the guy on the right is the main drug dealer, the biggest drug dealer. The other brother is the biggest drug dealer in the city, you know? And that almost feels like it's just normal. And it is. And I don't know if this happened to you, but it's easy to be down there or grow up there and spend your entire life there and be very kind of clouded by it in the sense where you don't kind of see it because it's foggy, and then you get away and you see it from the outside and you're like, whoa, you just notice it a little bit more. That's what I feel has happened to me.
But it's just what I like about that is that there are kind of rules of engagement. It's not like the way it was in the 80s where people would get shot being bystanders at Dadeland Mall. My dad grew up in Little Havana and he was around a lot of people. A friend of his ended up going to jail for 25 years for being on a boat that had cocaine. He wasn't even selling it. He was just transporting it.
Well, my dad put the fear of God in me when I was a little kid. To this day, I mean, I've talked about it. I've smoked pot, and I smoked pot after I've smoked pot in Europe and I tried it and whatever. I have never tried cocaine, and my dad. Yeah, and it's when I tell you in Miami, Mike and I are an anomaly of people that have not, had some nose candy. And
but look at
the eyes. Look at the eyes on him. He's tweaking. He's totally twitching.
I don't need it. I don't need it.
My dad.
You need it, but I don't need it. Wide awake.
So my dad is, people who listen know a little bit about my dad and know the story of my dad. So my dad was a musician, and he used to be like, oh. I call him Papi and he calls me Papi. It's just a normal thing. He goes, Papi, ¿tú te acuerdas de fulano? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, Dad. He goes, so I que está en la cárcel. He's in jail now. Uh-huh. I'm like, why? He goes, oh no, because he held a bag of cocaine for somebody. Yeah. That was gonna pay him just to hold the bag of cocaine. He got caught and he's in prison now. Now his kids don't see him.
How many years?
It was 5 to 10 years. Yeah. I don't remember what it was now, but it was something like that.
That's the way it was. And
scared the shit out of me.
And the difference between your dad and his friend could have been my dad was invited.
My dad was invited to do that.
My dad was invited to go on a boat. He's and the guy was like, you don't even have to touch drugs. You're just going to be on the boat just to make sure everything just goes through. And he's like, no, man, I can't do that. My mom's got 3 jobs. No puedo hacer eso. And It was that close. That's how close people were to being criminals or being squares. And my dad was a square. He was a square.
Mine too.
Nice with the ladies, but was a square.
Mine too.
Yeah, there you go. I know, and that's how he taught me how to be. It's just like be suave, be cool, and don't be caught up in any games that you're not willing to play. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's good
That's
about
a great way of putting it.
What's good about the drug game in Miami is that they very much have like Omar ethics from The Wire. It's just like, I don't put my gun on anyone that's not in the game.
Yeah.
I've never pointed my gun at anyone that ain't
Such
in
a
the
great
game.
show.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the ethics. And yeah, you know, I would rub shoulders with people that I knew sold drugs and everything like that. And that was cool. They thought I was a funny guy, but we didn't mess with each other in that sense.
Was the comedy your defense mechanism in
that
world?
It was that. It was also, I was like a fat kid that liked pretty girls. So like,
I mean, who doesn't?
I know, but I was an idiot. I thought like I could, you know, I thought like I can overcome this. And
come on, Jonah Hill, bravo, Jonah Hill.
I eventually,
there's hope for all of us.
There's hope for all of us. And I eventually did, thank God. But no, yeah, that was part of it. I mean, before I knew what my face looked like, I knew I was funny. That was the first thing I knew about myself.
Do you remember a moment in particular? You know, did you Did you watch shows when you were a kid and do the impressions of it for your parents?
Oh yeah, no, I was really weird. So I talked recently with a friend of mine. I was watching The Fugitive and Clear and Present Danger.
You went on a Harrison Ford kick.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I watched those movies when I was 5. And I had never watched Star Wars or Indiana Jones. I think maybe I've seen Star Wars, the first 6 movies once a piece. I don't think I've ever seen any of the Indiana Jones movies. And
the door's right. All right, show's over, guys. We gotta go.
No offense.
No.
It's not my thing.
It's a time thing.
It's not that, you know, some people sell drugs, some people don't watch Star Wars. Just don't put the gun on me. I'm not in the game. And so I watched The Fugitive when I was 5, and I would do this thing where I would hide from my relatives, and then I'd pop out of the door, and I'd say, "My name's Dr. Richard Kimball, and I didn't kill my wife," and I would run down the hall. And I thought about that recently. I was like, I must be one of the only kids in America that knows Harrison Ford as Dr. Richard Kimball and Dr. Jack Ryan before he calls him Indiana Jones or Han Solo.
That's true.
I might be the only one.
Oh wow, I have a weird like memory that popped in.
So weird you said weird. Yeah.
What was the name of the drug in The Fugitive that they're trying to pawn off as the fake drug?
Provactic.
Provlacic.
Yeah, Provasic.
Yeah,
It's Provasic.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, you did watch that film.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
So it was a test.
I also remember when he's in
such a great movie.
When he's sneaking into the hospital and he's shaving his beard, and he takes like eggs and bread from the guy that's like asleep because he hasn't eaten.
Yeah.
And the way he made himself like a little egg sandwich, and I was like, that looks delicious.
It does, yeah. It does. It looks good. We're also when he's jumping. Sorry, guys, we're talking about. It went into a whole dissection of the film, The Fugitive.
Yeah.
When he's gonna jump out of that tunnel in that fucking sewage tube.
Yeah.
I was scared. That's like my biggest fear is jumping into like how fucking scared do you have to be and to jump into that shit?
I'd do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, you know, you box, so it's just the same.
That's what I do, baby.
It's the same.
Just jump.
Going back to Pollo Punch because I want to get back to it. The title is obviously it's, you know, the title says what it does, or what's going on, but I'm watching it and there's moments of, you know, being a chicken.
Yes.
And was that a conscious effort as far as the title? And I love the look of confusion. It's great.
No, I'm listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're very attractive, so I'm looking away from you so I can listen to you.
Thank you. It's because I shaved.
It's
because I got a haircut. It's because I showered.
Mm-hmm.
It's because whatever.
It's because of Maybelline.
It's because of Maybelline. Yeah. Well, but you know, like a pollo, a chicken is a scaredy cat and there's something really courageous about the character. And I'm just wondering, was there anything intentional about that in the?
I just, you know, when I was thinking about Cuban subject matters and symbolism, it's just like roosters are just a big part of Cuban symbolism because they're everywhere in Miami, they're everywhere in Cuba, and like you said, there's the cockfighting aspect of it, and also it's a very it's a very tough animal for what its purpose is in life, especially a rooster. A rooster has to wake up the farm in the morning. A rooster has to procreate with a chicken to make more chickens. And, a rooster sometimes has to fight for the entertainment of other people.
Of Dominicans. Yeah. That's where baseball came from, actually. People were just tired of cockfighting in the DR, and they're like, you know what? Let's get this baseball thing going.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that there hasn't been like one of the MLB teams isn't just called the Roosters, like the Miami Cox or something like that. Or, I did write a script one time about a minor league baseball team where they were called the Del Rio, because it's in Texas, the Del Rio Wild Cox, and the mascot was just a crazy rooster. So this is the second time. This is the fourth time I've written. Now I'm thinking about it. Roosters have been in like 4 separate scripts.
Now, out of curiosity, because the film is about like 10 minutes long?
10 minutes long.
10 minutes and change. Is there something that you had to cut or extend or anything to the way you submitted it into film festivals? I don't know if it has to be below the 10 minutes to do this.
I believe it has to be around like 10 minutes. I believe that's the thing. Yeah. You're talking to the wrong guy.
Well, I don't know, fair, because I'm also curious. I'm like, all right, do you get a wider audience if it's less than X amount of minutes? Or, I'm always curious of like the dynamics of that kind of stuff.
We had to fit into programming because all the, at the film festival, you're in a block of like a bunch of 10-minute shorts. So, I mean, it has to fit into that,
and for the folks listening, I encourage watching it. It's just very endearing, very cute. Obviously it's a short, so it's something that's not gonna take up a ton of your time, but at the same time it's just really, really well done. The production quality is phenomenal. So where can they watch it?
It's gonna be out on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. And August 4th is when it's coming out.
Oh, right on. Perfect. Yeah. So right around right after this episode drops, you'll be able to get a hold of Pollo Punch, and also when we share it on Instagram, we'll make sure that we put a link in there so you guys can go and check out Pollo Punch yourself. Now, is there going to be a Pollo Punch 2? Because I don't want to mess anything up for the folks who are going to watch it August 4th.
I don't know. I would love to do it again if we have an opportunity. Because right now it's good. It's gotten me some recognition among people that could possibly help me have some sort of career.
And who do you voice in the film?
I voiced the rooster, which was great. Is that a buddy of mine who's a comedian went to go see the premiere at La Leaf, and he brought this guy that worked. That's
Latin American International Film Festival. Yes, if we're looking at the acronym, guys. Yes,
thank you very much for that. And he came up to me after the screening with this guy that worked for I believe it was ABC, and the guy goes, he introduced me. The comedian friend introduced the guy to me. And the guy goes, we were debating, I really love the short, but we were debating who was the voice of the rooster. That's me.
Is that a debate?
That's me.
Yeah.
And and the guy from ABC who's never met me before goes, I told you that was him. And the comedian who's known me for 10 years goes, I had no idea that was you. So, I mean, I guess that's the mark of a good voice perforance.
Well, but I mean, you studied theater, you did Shakespeare.
I did,
and that helps everything, man.
That helps
really
everything.
Does.
I mean, and I had, I don't want to reveal too much, but basically, I took a Cuban actor, and I sped him up. By like if you're on the YouTube comment. The YouTube speed for the playback, I took a Cuban actor, I'm not going to say who, and I multiplied his speed like 2.5.
Yeah.
That was it. That's basically the voice.
Yeah, but it's again, when you're, at least for me, when I listen to, when I watch anything that has voiceover work, when I forget that I know the person, obviously I know you personally, but when I forget that it's Sarah Silverman, or when I forget that's whoever, that's when I'm like, this is such a great job. Not just,
Well, I grew up like really loving like Looney Tunes and Animaniacs and all that, and Hey Arnold and Rocko's Modern Life and Ren and Stimpy, and like my first, I grew up a big Robin Williams fan. And before I knew he was a stand-up comedian, like my mom took me to see Aladdin, and she said that the way I was like watching the genie, I was just like really mesmerized. And that was always like one of my dreams when I started stand up. Like I eventually want to be asked to voice like a really cool character. Now with the way my career's gone, I had to write.
Hey,
I had to write the character.
But now we're in a space where you can write stuff and create it and put it on a place
which is
like
great.
YouTube.
Which is honestly, it's more fulfilling. I really love that I got to do that, and it's great. I mean, I hope I get to do this character for a long time if anything happens after. But for right now, it's just the short.
So to get right back into it,
Yeah.
we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, I hope. I hope I get to do it again, but you know, it's just, someone's got to see it and be like, "I want to take a chance." It's a weird thing to take a chance on, but I hope someone will. We'll see.
I mean, yeah, like I guess with with anything, like because at the end of the day, you value your time and you put so much time and so much love and so much effort into it, you know, and you get to work with such wonderful people like Chris Garcia and Jenny.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are the only folks that I know. So bear with me. I don't know the other folks that are in the, but you know, I know those guys personally.
Yeah.
And they're pros. You know,
They're pros.
And it's like, is there something that you learned as far as professionalism wise once you dove into making the short? Because you've been in the business for a minute, but you know, we learn something new every day.
Oh, just everything I learned working with Alec, the animator, the writer, the person I spent every moment with doing this. Just at what I was lacking as an artist, which is just patience and organization. Those are the two things I really was lacking. So I learned a lot through that, and just learning to really love the process of it. I don't think I've ever enjoyed making anything as much as I've enjoyed making this.
Isn't that great? How you
wonderful.
found another medium?
Yeah.
You know, something that you hadn't done before, and it's so beyond fulfilling. And you know, this is not about me or Megan. We created this show kind of on a whim.
Yeah.
And this is some of the most fun I've ever had in my life. Is doing and getting to talk to people and getting to talk about things that I'm passionate about, whether it's art, whether it's wine, whether it's food. Yeah. So I mean, that's just invigorating to hear, you know, because at the end of the day, I think, you know, part of the way that we all, and I don't necessarily mean stay young physically, but even though it probably does impact it, it's really about just evolving as a human being, evolving to different things. It's the folks that you see that are doing the same thing. And you can have the same job, but there's always learning new things, like pick up a guitar, pick up get into foreign film, get it, whatever. Start painting watercolor.
Yeah.
You know, it's that constant evolution, I think, of the brain and of us. And it also develops a compassion in people. You start to understand the art form a little bit differently. You know how much work goes into making a short film, let alone an animated film.
There's just a lot of moving pieces, and another big thing I learned is just having faith that people will do their job. That's it.
You have to, right now. And you mentioned to me that you were in festivals in Miami, New York, and in LA.
Mm-hmm. And then Puerto Rico.
Oh, and in Puerto Rico, that's right. Did you notice how different Latino cultures were, I don't know, reacted to it? Because obviously Cubans know about cockfighting. I got to imagine in LA it's probably a little bit different. I don't know. In New York has a lot of Dominicans. You know, how was the
I would say, and I loved all the screenings, but La Live, because it was the biggest one. Well, we had two screenings. So we had one in the animated block, and then we had one in the general festival one in the really big auditorium. And that was my favorite screening. And there was a lot of it was mainly Mexican people. You know, obviously, like I'm Cuban, Alex Cuban, Jenny Lorenzo was there, she's Cuban. So, but like Edward James Olmos was there, and he came up to Alec after and said how much he enjoyed it, and that was awesome. No, I mean everyone seems to like really get it, like, and really like. I mean, we created this not because we thought. I mean, like we knew that there are things that specifically Cuban people would get within the piece. Mm-hmm. But
it's who you are.
I'm kind of looking forward to showing this in the Philippines and seeing how they dig it. I mean, Manny Pacquiao is the most important.
Maybe they'll start taking bets before the end of the movie.
Yeah, they take bets on what's going to happen. You know? You know, I'm hoping to see what non-Hispanic boxing enthusiasts think about this movie. You know,
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is a boxing.
it's boxing.
movie.
It's everything. It's all the things I'm really interested in, and you know, they tell you for a long time, you know, because I'm a Cuban person. And I say it this way because I really consider myself to be a comedian more than anything else. That's the one identity that I actually latch on to the most.
Mm-hmm.
I just happen to be Cuban, and I just happen to be American.
Right.
So, you know, they tell you for a long time, like, you know, to kind of separate yourself from other writers, you should be writing about the Cuban experience. And, you know, for a long time, I saw myself as like an imposter when it came to that stuff.
Well, I get that because you're not born in Cuba.
I'm not born in Cuba.
You know, same way I wasn't born in Cuba.
I'm not born in Cuba. I'm white passing. I was into a lot of like black culture growing up. Like I watched Bebe's Kids when I was like 7. I think I was the only guy at my age that ever watched Bebe's Kids at 7 years old. Like I loved Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
I'm still trying to figure out how they got the little train track inside Marlon Wayans' is like hair. For that. Sorry, it's a great parody film, guys. It's so great.
I asked Chris Spencer one time about one specific bit, the bit where the guys are in front of the liquor store, and you just see one guy kind of send something through his phone, and then the guy next to him, his beeper goes off, and then the guy whose beeper goes off, he gets his phone and calls, and then the guy next to him, his phone rings, and like, yeah, and he goes, yeah, did you page me, man? Yeah, you ready to be out? Yeah, all right, let's do it. And they go, and that's just a bit. And I asked Chris, I was like, who wrote that? And you know, I saw him at the parking lot of the Comedy Store, and he answered, which was great. No, it's a phenomenal film.
Isn't that the beauty about being out here is, and I can't imagine being in, let's say, I don't know, Indiana, and you want to be a comedian. Right. And the places that you can go and get up in front of a microphone are a few and far between. Uh-huh. You know, LA, of course, getting into the room at the Comedy Store is a different animal. Oh, it's the best. But you work your way up. But there's so many places, and you just never know who you're going to run into. Mm-hmm. You never know who's going to be generous. Like this, this guy was.
Vast majority or not.
Vast majority or not. I know what I mean. I was listening to Jeff Ross, the Roastmaster General, on Howard Stern. Last show before Howard went on vacation, and Jeff Ross was talking about roasting his first time at the Friars Club in New York, and how Uncle Milton, iconic comedian Milton Berle, who was known to be beyond well endowed, that's like the joke with Uncle Milton, was behind the curtain poking him in the ribs because he was getting too many laughs. He was killing in his set, and Milton Berle was behind the curtain, behind the podium, where Jeff Ross was roasting, and he was jabbing him because he was getting too many laughs.
Yeah.
And it's kind of beautiful to hear you tell a story that somebody was generous.
I mean, the vast majority of the place is sick. I was talking last night with Eleanor Kerrigan, phenomenal comedian from Philadelphia. She's been at she waitressed at the Comedy Store from 1993 to 2005, and then she did stand up. And she tells these great stories.
You're sitting in on a masterclass.
Oh my God. And she has a great podcast, the Comedy Store podcast. She talks about all this. But I just love hearing those stories about like, this comedian, like everyone thinks he's a nice guy, but he's a prick. And, this person, you think this guy's funny. Well, he kind of stole his thing from this guy. And, I kind of like all those stories because it is it's an industry that brings out a lot of good in people, but it also brings out a lot of ugly. Well, and again, I don't do cocaine, so it's only brought out.
Have you had material stolen, kind of like my Cuban pork party was stolen by that winery?
I had a.
All right, sorry, that was the last. That's the last callback.
No, I mean they stole your essence.
My sazon.
I had a guy one time. He accused me of saying a joke that's similar. I used to, and this is like my first 2 years of comedy.
I was like, have you accidentally said something similar? Because at the end of the day, there's got to be a bunch of people that are saying something similar and they didn't steal it from each other. It's just...
Well, I was a lot bigger than I am now, and I had no neck. So I used to joke about having...
You were Zach Thomas?
Yeah, I was joking about
it's a Miami Dolphins reference, guys,
In fact, I knew I had lost a bunch of weight when I have a comedian friend, Jamar Neighbors, who, hilarious guy. He used to... When I started slowly losing weight, he'd be like, nope, still don't see your neck. One time he called me from Austin, Texas, and he called me out of nowhere because he lives there now. And I go, Jamar, are you okay? He goes like, Mike, I found your neck. It's in Austin, man. Like, and then finally when I lost all the weight, he goes like,
and you lost all that weight without cocaine?
Without cocaine?
Yeah. What was
well, it's slowly through the years, but it's also recently I haven't really been drinking since September.
Right on. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I mean, I drink wine, and I think I've had hard alcohol maybe like 3 times since September.
Which is funny because I can attribute all of my weight gain, so serious talk, to working in the like beverage industry, and even just not even having full cocktails, because people follow my Instagram and they're like, dude, are you okay?
Yeah. And
I'm like, no, dude, that doesn't mean I drank all of that. I tasted this, I tasted that. It's part of my job to do those things. Like this. I'm not a hot chick, but the same way, like you'll see a hot chick with a giant, according to you, you'll see a hot chick holding a giant slice of pizza, and I'm like, girl, I know you didn't eat that.
No. That's why I can't stand those Hardee's commercials with the girls in bikinis eating food. It's
Paris Hilton, I know you didn't eat that.
I didn't need both these things here. Like,
that's how you know you're from Florida, when you called it Hardee's instead of Carl's Jr.
What is it, Carl's Jr.?
Yeah, I know, but it's Hardee's for us.
I don't like fast food in general, so I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
I don't eat it.
People who like In-N-Out or Whataburger is their personality, like these are the people that we should be deporting.
I only go to In-N-Out when people from out of town come in and they're like, we have to try In-N-Out, and then all right, fine,
it's fast food, man.
It's fucking like, it's not bad or anything.
No,
I just like I'm good.
And I don't know, like burgers are just, I don't know where we got to the place in this country where people are like they're charging like $50 for burgers at like high end places, or it's about like this fast food I don't understand.
Well, I'll make the distinction as far as why they're charging X amount, depending on the place. So I can't speak to every place, but for example, high-end steakhouse, their burger, let's say, is like $25-$26, and it's this beautiful, like gigantic burger. Because what are they doing? The dry aged steaks that are almost on the cusp of not being necessarily, not that they're bad, but they're not being served in the restaurant. Those are being ground down and made into these like beautiful like dry aged steak burgers. So they're trying to recoup some of the because that's expensive, really high end Wagyu and those kind of things. Now the distinction of that versus fast food, night and day difference as far as like the quality of the meat. It's like saying how is a Lamborghini and a Corolla,
But I just think that a burger is the type of food that it depends on your emotional recall of burgers. So like it's the type of food that because like I remember when I was in high school and I would grill at home and I'd invite my friend over with his girlfriend and she would bring her handsome friend along. Very handsome woman for me, and I was fat. This is what I took, and
whatever. She was a handsome gal.
She was a handsome gal.
Yeah,
a countenance, some would say. Like I remember the smell of those burgers and the taste of those burgers because I made them, and we had a lovely afternoon together. That to me is what burgers are in a sense. I don't remember like
more of a nostalgia meal.
It's a nostalgia meal, and it's not. It's not anything I remember having. I remember I had an ex-girlfriend who was from another country, and she...
Was she deported?
No, she was not deported. She left on
her own. Not yet.
She left on her own accord. And she said to me, she's like, Michael, can we please go to Shake Shack? Because she doesn't have anything like that where she's from.
Of course not.
And she's like, and I'm like, sweetheart, the only reason I'm doing this is because I love you so much. Because I don't stand in DMV lines for food.
Yeah. Oh, let's get into the DMV lines in Miami right now.
It's weird. Yeah. It's weird because the lines that people stand in for these chains, they look like the Soviet lines during the communist.
They look like the Cuban lines for rice.
It's like we're willingly putting ourselves in these lines, and I've never understood it. And we went through, and then sure enough, we had it. And I go, "How was that?" And she goes, "Like it wasn't worth being in a line." I'm like, "Yeah, you get it now."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. Like even and this place is great. I wouldn't wait in line for it just because I'm too old for that shit now.
Yeah.
But like Howlin' Ray's down the road, fried chicken spot. Howlin' Ray's is great.
It's great.
It's delicious.
Great.
Do I want to fucking wait in line?
No,
bro. I'll pay $10 more to Uber Eats that shit to my house, or just like if I really need it. Yeah. Or I've driven by and I'm like, there's no line. Fuck it. I'm gonna run in right now and I'm gonna get chicken
I'll
strips.
wait till they get a health inspection fine or something like that.
Yeah.
Come back when they're a C.
You could call that in, really. If you ever wanted to bring the line down somewhere, just call in a health inspection.
I could call that in, man.
I saw a rat tail just under the counter somewhere.
There you
go. Was it a rat, sir? I didn't see the rat. I saw
Ray's
got
to get his shit together, man. You know. But yeah, no, I mean, most food that I like is I mean, when I go down to San Diego, I always go to the same burrito place I've been going to since
you mentioned Colima's. I think
Colima's. Yeah, I remember exactly. Yeah, it's great. It was funny though because I was eating there the other day and I had a big workout and I was talking with a friend of mine from Miami. He's the kind of friend that he's constantly talking at people. I love him, but he's constantly talking at people. And
give me an example.
Like he's like, you should be doing this with your career and everything like that. He's an engineer, by the way. He's like, you shouldn't be doing this with your career. If I was doing comedy, this is what I would be doing. I was like, do you know how many times I talk to you about engineering? He goes, you never talk to me about engineering. I'm like,
shut the fuck up.
I was like, you want to know why? He goes, why? I was like, because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But I had him in my headphones because he wanted to talk to me. And I was eating a burrito, and then he goes, "What are you doing?" I was just like, "I'm eating a burrito." And I was like, "You're undoing like all the workout you just did." And I'm trying to enjoy a burrito with a man in my ear telling me not to do it. And then there was a silent moment. He goes, "I'm 50 pounds overweight right now." I'm like, he goes, "I should probably lose about 50, 60 pounds." I was like, "You said it." And
you're like, I'm just not gonna eat for 3 days after this.
But yeah,
I
think the reason I like going to Colima's is because it reminds me of my first trip to San Diego, where I crashed on somebody's couch and I just walked and I found this place. And it is good. They've remodeled the place a couple times, and like people like going there. I mean, is it the best? Probably not, but I have an emotional attachment to it.
How was it for you? Because I still remember the first check I got as an actor, and I remember it wasn't a lot of money. It was a lot of money for me back then. Do you remember the first time you made a penny as a comedian?
Yeah.
What was your reaction to it? Not enough money, or what? Like, what was?
No. Honestly, I'm a moron. I really am. Because like the first meal I got to do comedy, and the biggest check I've gotten to do comedy, have hit me the exact same way.
Yeah. It's not moronic. It's just because you love comedy and it's an authentic.
I know but it's just like, this is so cool.
How long after not doing comedy do you start to get antsy and can't wait to get back on stage? Like, are you constantly watching the news? Are you constantly like, fuck, I need to get this out?
No, I'm not. I don't do topical humor. I'm not a fan of it.
Okay,
I don't do political humor at all. I do stuff that like I want to make sure it still resonates in 6 months. Like anything I talk about, I want to make sure it's still cool in 6 months.
And I don't do stand up. I'm a huge advocate and lover of it.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the hardest professions to do. I think you can take more people and put them through school and have them be a engineer or have that same amount of people. I don't think you could have them be a very good comedian.
I think dog gynecologist is probably tougher.
That's rough, bro.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Yeah, you like that? Anyway, no, it is.
No, I think it attracts a certain type of person. I think it's tough if you're not funny. I think that's what's and I had this conversation because I was at an open mic the other day, and
people do get better. I've seen people be shitty and get better.
But you have to have a base level funny. I don't believe people who are not.
Sorry,
funny.
I interrupted your thought process.
No. I'm glad you did interrupt because I do not believe that people that do not have a genetic like genetically they're not inclined to be funny or through some sort of trauma.
Well, some people don't know they're funny.
Some people don't know they're funny until later. But you have to have something. You have to have a base level funny. There's someone you can't be not funny and then do a bunch of open mics and then you're funny. You just through open mics and through shows, you figure out a way to be your funniest self. But you got to be funny to start out. That's why I
well, is that the hardest part? Is finding yourself? Because you think of God damn it, what's the name of the fucking like the hillbilly comedian? He was one of the
Jeff Foxworthy?
No, not Foxworthy.
Larry the Cable Guy?
Larry the Cable Guy. You look at old Larry the Cable Guy and it's a different character, right?
Yeah.
And you try like hillbilly comedian right away. You're like Jeff Foxworthy. You're like and it's like figuring out what is your voice and who you are as a comedian.
Yeah.
I'm almost, is it harder now because everybody's recording you? Where before, like you could get away with having a different persona.
Well, people are not recording me. I'm not famous, so no one records me. And then when you go to comedy clubs now, they have like yonder bags if you're going into bigger shows.
Oh, okay.
So
that's where they take
make
your
you
phone.
Put your phone, and it's really a shame that they have to tell people to do that. But I guess they don't.
That's why I got the Meta glasses, so that I can do the videos that very bling. Yeah. I went to a bar last night actually that doesn't allow phones being out,
right.
But like the bartenders are homies and they want me to share stuff from their bar's awesome, so they want me to share stuff from their bar.
Yeah.
And because I know at the end of the day I do drive some traffic there. And they're like, "Oh, bro, you got the glasses? Yes.
Yeah.
Please use the glasses all you want.
Sure.
Just don't take out a phone."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Cool, I got you, dog."
Yeah.
No,
yeah, it's. I mean, comedians should have constant, like control over what they put out.
This is probably in my mind, right? If I ever chose to go the path of wanting to learn comedy. Learn to write jokes, learn to develop a stage act, right?
Why would you want to ruin your life at this point?
Exactly, right? But
life,
there are fun moments where whether I've never done stand up, but I do a lot of stuff on stage, and you get a laugh through an organic interaction, and there is an adrenaline rush that comes from that. But my question is, for example, I watch Chris Rock's famous, comedy show where he's got the CR in the back and it looks like the Colorado Rockies logo, and he's doing his whole thing, and most people watching it, I don't think they thank you. Most people watching it don't, they're not, and I'm not like super industry person, but I know that that's not the first time he's done it. I know that it's a honed set. I know that there's beats. I know that there's...
Yeah.
How do you not get tired of doing the same set? Because that would be the daunting part for me.
Because you figure out new things within the set that gets it closer to being perfect, and it never gets perfect. But you
give me an example. I'm so curious about that because that would be the hardest thing for me. Like one thing is doing a Shakespeare play, and everybody knows Othello, everybody knows Macbeth, and you're doing that on a run. But when you're the only person and it's your show, and you're doing the same 25 minutes or the same.
Well, because the thing is that. I mean, you're not doing 25 all the time. Like I do a lot of like 8 to 12 minute sets.
Okay.
I got to do a half hour last week in San Diego, and that was great. And it was basically like I got to finally piece all these things together.
Got it.
So to me, like jokes and bits are just like they're like pieces of like they're like Tetris pieces. And then the longer I have, the more combinations I get to make, depending on what the audience is giving me. And no jokes are ever told the same. They might be the same loosely, but they're never told the same. It's really depending on the audience that's in front of you. But I understand people's like kind of weird feeling towards that. I think that's why crowd work clips are like so big right now.
Yeah, because I just saw I was at the Ice House down the street from my house. Sorry guys, don't stalk me. But I live walking distance to the Ice House, an iconic comedy club, and I'm so grateful that I do. Because there's some really, really great acts that come through. Acts you've never heard of, people in the industry know who they are, but like you really get to see some names, quote unquote. And I went to go see Jeff Garlin about a month ago, and Jeff Garlin from Curb Your Enthusiasm for folks who are trying to figure out who that is. That is Larry David's manager on the show, and Jeff did an hour and a half of crowd work, and it was brilliant when I saw it. I gotta imagine there's times where it is fucking crickets and he is just fighting to connect with people. He was great. Watching this particular person do crowd work, it was like, oh.
Well, that's his thing. He's a pro at it. There's guys that's what they do. And then there's other guys that
Does that terrify you to do an hour of crowd work?
No, I could probably muster up the courage to do it.
What would be the most terrifying thing if somebody asked you to do, not only terrifying, but something that would get the butterflies going the most, let's say.
Comedy.
Oh, yeah.
If I had to do
if you had to Seinfeld it?
If I had to do like a G-rated set, I couldn't do it because it's not the type of humor that I grew up with. It's very, I grew up in a loud, inappropriate family. So that is, I'd rather do an hour and a half of crowd. I mean, I'm a funny person outside of stand-up. You know what I mean? Like if I'm just in a...
I love that you say that because so many people are like, I'm not a good singer.
Introverted?
I'm not No, but like anything that you're good at. Like you're a funny guy. That's you make a living doing it. Be okay saying you're funny.
I'm okay saying no. I mean, I think I'm a good stand-up. I'm not a great stand-up. I'm trying to get there, but I think I'm a funny person.
Who right now is a great stand-up? Because last time you were on the show was a few years ago.
Yeah. What did I say?
You know, I mean, well, you mentioned some of your favorites like Carlin, Red Fox, you know, albums that you would listen to.
Yeah.
But we didn't really take a dive into who is a great, because I asked you rightfully so. You're like, there's nobody, but you know, you're like, I'm kind of too old for this. But I said, who gets you out of the house? You know, for me, I'm like, if I'm going to see Oasis perform in Wembley Stadium a week and a half from now, and I'm like, Oasis got me out of the house because I want to go see those guys live. Like, who gets you out of the house?
Rory Scovel, because I don't know anyone that does stand up like him. Bill Burr,
genius. Yeah, I don't know Rory yet, but I want to check him
Rory
out.
Scovel is amazing, and he does stand up. He does. Speaking of crowd work, and this isn't crowd work, but he used to do this show at Lyric Hyperion, where he would do an hour of improvised stand up. So like, kind of talk to the audience and then did bits based on what they were saying, which is different from crowd work, but it's completely improvisational. It was absolutely amazing. And it's so funny. I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. Have you ever seen the movie The House?
No.
It's with Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler, and they
I haven't seen it.
They need money to send their kid to college, so they started an illegal casino in their house in the suburbs.
I love the premise.
Yeah. So Rory Scovel is already one of my favorite comedians, and so they Rory is like a very like kind of alternative, like silly guy. So in the casino, I'm not a fan of the movie, but in the casino, that is their house, they set up a room for casino comedy, like a casino comedy club. So it's a room and it's got like maybe 10 folding chairs, and there's like no one in there except for Rory Scovel. And on stage is Sebastian Maniscalco in this movie.
Get the fuck out. That's so
Sebastian
funny.
Maniscalco.
That's great.
And Rory's like eating a bunch of crap and he's just watching Sebastian Maniscalco. And Sebastian's just being Sebastian. He's like, have you seen these people out here? And Rory's in the audience just this close to Sebastian going like... It's one of the funniest things in the world if you're a fan of comedy. Watching Rory Scovel lose his shit,
and I'm sure I know who this is. I just can't. I don't know.
Yeah,
the
you know
yeah.
Rory. He's oh god. I mean, you know his face. He was in Did you watch Reasons to Be Pretty? It was like an Amy Poehler movie.
No,
not Amy Poehler. Amy Schumer. It's a ridiculous premise. She's like a woman that hits her head and then thinks she's a model, so she starts acting that way. Rory Scovel is like the romantic lead.
That's most of Instagram.
Yeah,
so it's great.
Yeah, Rory's great. I mean, I love watching him because he turns me into he makes me forget that I'm a comedian.
So Bill
Burr, who I honestly think the older he gets, he's just getting so much better than everybody. Like, there's a lot of comedians that I'm not gonna name names, but there's a lot of comedians that I love that the older they've gotten, the weirder they've gotten, and it's kind of ruined the fandom that I had for them when I was younger. Bill Burr, I've only become a bigger fan of the more I watch him.
I think me too. Yeah, and I'm not involved in that world, but just as a consumer of people like Bill Burr, I will watch any one of his specials. Same as Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Same as Chappelle.
Yeah.
There's certain guys like to me what I guess what turns me on about watching comedians is the more relaxed they are. Like Chappelle can sit down, light a cigarette, and have the most relaxed talk with you. And it feels like he's talking to you, even though he's in a room. And it's this beautiful command. And, you know, Pryor was great. Eddie Murphy was like, that's who was my idol as a kid growing up was Eddie Murphy. But to me, I've never seen anybody like Chappelle that could just sit down. And at a certain point, people are like, I'm not going to get up to piss because I'm going to miss something, you know? And I think Bill Burr, it's a different style of comedy, of course, but he's getting there to me. And this is just as a consumer, you know, just as watching him, because I want to see a sports show hosted by Bill Burr, because he used to do the comedy bits on Chappelle's show when he was like the ESPN guy on Chappelle's show.
The racial draft, yeah.
The racial draft, yeah. And that's a guy that now I want to watch in anything.
He's great. He's absolutely amazing. And then the one that I really want to mention, because I think she's having the best run of any comedian right now in terms of doing things that is artistically satisfying and then also being commercially successful. Ali Wong. I think Ali Wong is like having
She's great.
the greatest run of anybody in like the last 5 years. Like she's absolutely amazing.
Oh man. So where can people find you, Mike?
At Mike the Menendez on TikTok and Instagram.
Mike the Menendez?
The Menendez.
No, I'm just kidding because I know I follow you. I'm just making you repeat it because I'm not like, why don't you have Yum Yum Foodie? I'm like, because some fucking morbidly obese person in the Midwest got Yum Yum Foodie. Yeah. So I had to put a the in front of it. Okay. So just fucking deal with it. I'm just curious because I remember when Pedro Zamora, who was one of the original cast members of The Real World on MTV, Cuban guy from Miami. Okay. He ends up being a very prominent figure in the gay community because he's HIV positive.
That's right.
And then he dies of AIDS.
Yeah.
And my phone was ringing off the hook in my house because people thought, we're like, are you related to Pedro? Menendez Brothers movie comes out. Have you had to deal with any I don't think you're related to them, but have you had to deal with any like, oh, you're Cuban, Mike Menendez. Do you take a shotgun to your parent? Like anything?
You know what's funny is that I texted my dad because I found out they were Cuban.
Really? You found out later?
I never really looked it up.
Oh, okay.
Because they're from LA, so I was like, we would know. They're in LA, we're in Miami, probably not. And I remember I texted my dad recently and I was like, is there any chance we're related to the Menendez brothers? And then he goes, I mean, only by if at all by blood. And I go, we're too dumb. We're too dumb. We're too dumb to be related to them.
You know what I just realized?
That's right
now? I get so mad because there's a movie called Before Night Falls, right?
Yeah,
it's a beautiful Javier Bardem. Mm-hmm. And I remember Javier Bardem plays a famous Cuban poet. Mm-hmm. In this film, and he's gay, and it's being gay hot, in Cuba was not like it's very Mike beat off to it a few times, a few times. But I remember being at the time, the first time I watched it, being very annoyed at Javier Bardem because he didn't sound Cuban to me. Fast forward, I find out that the actual real person was from a part of Cuba called Oriente, and their accent is different than my accent. My parents are from Havana. And I was like, fuck you, Javier Bardem. And then what does he do? He plays a fucking other Cuban in this goddamn Menendez show. Anyway.
He's also played Ricky Ricardo in the.
He did play Ricky Ricardo. Like, is that like our go-to guy now? It's like, you know what? He's Cuban adjacent.
I mean, I would be asking Andy. I would feel like Andy Garcia is asking himself that.
Yeah, Andy Garcia's like, who did I piss off?
Yeah, who did I piss off? No, I just It's weird though because it used to be that people 30 like my age and older knew about the Menendez Bros, and not really a lot of people my age, mostly people older than me. But now because of the Netflix show, everyone knows about it.
Well, yeah, it's like I knew the story, but I didn't know the details of the story. And then of course Ryan Murphy makes it, and it becomes like a bunch of naked dudes and like body oil. Because that's what he does.
Was it Ryan Murphy that did the Netflix show? I haven't watched it because I've heard so much about it.
It was well done. And actually, the guys who play and obviously Javier Bardem, Chloe Sevigny, they're phenomenal. Both of them. And the guys who play them, the brothers, are great actors. They're great.
I just noticed that there's like a cycle every 5 years, and I asked a crime writer about this in New York. I was staying with a friend of mine, and the lady that lived next door was a crime writer. That's what she did. I was just talking to her in the hall one day. And I asked her, I was like, is it just me? But you write crime, so I'm assuming you pay attention to this. Every 5 years, there's a sequence of new OJ documentary, new Jeffrey Dahmer movie, new Ted Bundy series, like every 5 years, they kind of recycle these like Menendez brothers, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, John Wayne Gacy,
Ted Bundy.
They just recycle these guys and they just present new things every 5 years. And then after 5 years, whoever was first 5 years ago now gets to go first again. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
like
funny,
I've noticed it. So I was like, I've heard this Menendez Brothers thing 1,000 times. I've seen Dateline. They did Edie Falco did a Dick Wolf produced show. That was like Law and Order style. It was like a mini series on NBC. I've seen countless documentaries about it, and I'm just sick of it. And then when Kim Kardashian was like, they should be released, I'm like, okay, fine, I don't care.
Yeah, at this point, who fucking cares?
Yeah, like, I know because they were, and I understand people are just like they were abused. I'm like, yeah, but did you see the crime scene?
I already can see the billboard. Next time you're in San Diego, you're at a show, and it's like, Mike, not Lyle Menendez.
Mike,
I think.
not Lyle.
I think that should be
You know what's
your
funny? The entire time,
marquee
for years, and this is my comedian brain because I used to know the Menendez brothers. For some reason, I thought for years their names were Kyle and Lyle Menendez, but it's Eric and Lyle. But I
Kyle and Lyle. I like Kyle.
Anytime someone would say Menendez brothers, I'm like, Kyle and Lyle, and then they're like, "Is that it?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's it." Like,
And you stood your ground too. You were
I
like,
stood my ground on it.
yeah.
And I realized that's like my brain just wanted to make it interesting for me because at a certain point it just got so boring. A double murder became so boring to me.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's all because these people were rich. Like that's the whole point of it. Like these people were rich and they killed their own parents, and it's great.
So guys, no. So anyway, and
It's so interesting.
it's. I mean, the Netflix show was. But for me, it was
I'm
honestly,
sure-
it was more about watching Javier Bardem because I will watch that guy do a cereal commercial. I just think he's like such a fucking talented actor. I enjoy him.
Look, I'm sure it was great. But again, I've seen a bunch of that. You know what I haven't seen a bunch of? I've never seen a rooster put on a pair of boxing gloves and
That's
have a
right.
dream.
That's right.
So please,
Yeah.
please watch that.
No.
Because if you don't, they'll make a Menendez Brothers puppet.
Yeah,
show.
we don't need a claymation Menendez
they'll make
brother.
they'll make an animated Menendez Brothers show.
That might be a celebrity death match.
Yeah, produced by Mike Judge.
Yeah, produced by Mike Judge. So guys, please follow Mike the Menendez, of course, spelled like the Menendez brothers. So Mike the Menendez on social, and check out Pollo Punch coming out August 4th on YouTube. If you're listening to the show now, just know the show comes out on Sunday, so just a few days later. Actually, wait, hold on. Sunday I'm sorry, bear with me. I'm trying to date. Whatever, fuck it. You'll see it on our socials. We'll have a link to check out the film. Mike, whenever we have a guest on, because Megan's not here, so I never tell this to Megan, so she can fuck off. No, I'm just kidding, Megan. You know I love you. But the only thing we don't get back in life is time. And sincerely, I want to thank you for spending a little time with me here on Kill the Bottle Podcast. I know time is precious, and you drove all the way to Pasadena for this. So for real, bro, I appreciate you. No, I will support any Cuichi from Miami, any of my people from Miami all the time. So I'm really glad that you're here. Guys at home, please like, subscribe, rate, review. This show does not happen without folks listening to it, downloading, subscribing. So it sincerely means the world to me. See you guys soon. I'm going on vacation, so it might be a week or two. Kill the Bottle Podcast.
And we're going to find that winery and we're going to roast them like kids they are.
Fuck those motherfuckers. Bye.